My name is Rachel Badabiel, and I am an emergency medicine physician. As we mentioned earlier, debriefing is a critical part of simulation. While the simulation itself provides a hands-on learning experience, the debriefing allows learners to critically and thoughtfully reflect on their experience, and instructors to guide the learner's reflection and self-assessment, to give performance feedback and impart new knowledge through an interactive discussion. We will be discussing debriefing using the PEARLS framework, published by Walter Epic and Adam Chang. Once the case is over, some suggest moving the debriefing to a separate area from the simulation itself. This allows learners to take a breath and remove themselves from the often emotionally charged scene of the simulation. Going into a debriefing, it's important to have the learning objectives of the simulation in mind, as these will guide the discussion. It is also important to remind students and learners that the debriefing, like the simulation itself, is a safe learning environment. There are several common debriefing techniques, some which are catered to specific types of simulation. In general, some methods work better for debriefing the medical aspects of a case, while other methods work better for addressing the teamwork and communication aspects of a medical case. You will want to choose a method that meets your particular goals for your exercise. In these cases, we will focus on the medical management. Many people start the simulation debriefing by asking learners how it felt. Doing so allows those who were engaged in the simulation to give voice to their emotions and hopefully then clear their minds to allow for open learning as the discussion progresses. One published blended debriefing script, PEARLS, suggests then asking someone in their group to summarize the case from a medical point of view. From there, the debriefing educator can guide the conversation to the medical aspects of the sim. This ensures a shared mental model of the events moving forward. As you guide the discussion, it is important to understand the learner's insight into their management, as well as what their frames are and how they manage the patient. To begin with learner self-assessment, one can use the plus-delta method of debriefing. This common method is known as Delta Plus. It is important to remember to point out not just those things that need improvement, but can be especially helpful to review outstanding performance and behaviors as well. From there, the educator will probe a little further and add their own judgments, as well as understand a learner's frames better by using advocacy inquiry method. Maybe an example where the physician thought the patient had cardiogenic shock, which then jumps to a quick discussion about recognizing cardiogenic versus septic shock. In this example, one may not have realized that the learner didn't give the appropriate amount of fluid because he or she was concerned about cardiogenic shock and instead assumed she didn't understand the basics of sepsis management. This highlights the importance of understanding a clinician's frame and thought process. Finally, the discussion can be wrapped up. A convenient but meaningful way to wrap up debriefing is by asking each learner to summarize something they learned during today's simulation.